Alright, you know me. I don't watch a lot of animations. I also don't watch a lot of Predator movies. To me, Predator movies have been kind of the same, They're all good in their own right, but there's nothing special in the Predator franchise for me personally. So, I was browsing through Disney Plus and I found out that there is an animated Predator cartoon movie called Predator Killers of Killers. And I thought, well, let's give it a shot. I'm not the biggest fan of Predator, but I will give it a shot. Well guys, after watching the movie, I can proudly tell you that this is one of the most unique Predator projects that I have seen in my entire life. Yes, that is a big statement, but hear me out. There are a lot of aspects that work wonderfully in this film, particularly the animations. If you saw The Blue-Eyed Samurai, expect the same style of animation. If you watched the TV show and you thought, wow, the animation style is so great. Well, basically, this animation project is like that. The style is the same, the characters move fluidly, and everything looks beautiful. The rendering is perfect. Also, the characters here, they convey emotions, and there aren't a lot of animations that can do that properly, but this one, it succeeded in the animation department. So basically, if you like Blue-Eyed Samurai, well, this animation is for you. And before I move on, I should probably mention the plot of this film. The plot in short is divided into 3 storylines. The first storyline involves the Viking storyline, tells a story of a mother and child, and also the theme of this story is revenge. The second story tells a story about a samurai. They are brothers, but along the way, they really just, they argue a lot and they split up. Well, even when I like the concept, I really don't like how they handled it. Because this is a story about rivalry, about revenge. But in this story, you're not given a lot of a ground up, to ground these characters and explain their motivation properly. They just, when they met, this ninja and the samurai, they just start fighting and one of them died. That's it. Yes, there is an amazing save by the end with the samurai sacrificing himself, before the ninja gets killed by the predator. But if you're talking about it emotionally, that's about it, because you don't see enough of these characters before they transform into samurai and ninja. You don't see their grudge towards each other evolve. Not even a bit. I know that this is a short story. You don't have a lot of time to develop these characters. But even then, I still would have liked a little bit more ground up, a little bit more build up to 2 of these characters, because when one of them died, I myself as an audience, I don't feel anything. And that, to me, that is a really small problem, but it is worth mentioning. Now, the third story is set in the World War II, revolving around an airplane pilot, a fighter jet pilot, facing this giant alien ship. And to me, the story is the best one. In terms of the story, yes, the best one is the Vikings. The story involving the Vikings. But if you talk about intensity, this third story is the most intense. This is the most visually appealing to me. And yes, this is the most entertaining story out of the 3. But here's the thing. When you wrap up 3 of these stories, there are a lot of spare times. So, what do you want to do about it? Well, it turns out that 3 of these characters are in the same ship, in the same Predator ship, and they're being transported into basically a Predator gladiator state, where they must kill each other and then face off against the Alpha Predator. In concept, this is cool, but to me, this ending, this third act felt a little bit shoehorned in, because if you just end up with these 3 individual stories, it would have been fun. It could have been more enjoyable, more standalone, and more self-contained. But the third act is there, and we cannot ignore it. Even though it is entertaining, but as I said before, it felt a little bit shoehorned in. But as usual, this film tries to do something different. Tries to tie everything up together, and to me, it really doesn't tie up very well. And at the end of the film, they tease that one of the surviving characters is actually in a, hibernation state. And during that same scene, you see that the main character from the movie Prey, Nawe or something like that, I didn't remember her name, but the same character, the same main character of Prey movie is in there as well. Now here's the thing, here's my question. Is this animated movie canon? Well, if it is, the next film, Predator Badlands, may or may not be following up this, this gigantic story. Because if you watch the trailer for Predator Badlands, it's very apparent that they're leaning into the Alien versus Predator side instead of a standalone story. And if they decided to continue this plotline, this Nawe and this fighting plotline, I really wanted to see how they fit in to the entirety of the Predator universe. To keep this review short, I will give Predator Killer of Killers an 8 out of 10. The animation is great, the action is great. Now here's the thing that I like about the action in this film. This film doesn't shy away from the gore, the blood, the intensity, the brutality. They show that up in front of our face, and yes, if you're here for Predator killing a bunch of people, well, this film is for you. I will give Predator Killer of Killers an 8 out of 10. This is a solid animation project, and I would have liked that, if you want to continue this story, well, continue it with an animation form, a sequel to this in animation also. So 8 out of 10, and if you have seen Predator Killer of Killers, comment everything down below, things you like, things you don't like, and also, do you think the animation approach is appropriate for this franchise? Tell me everything, and see you on the next video.